Aston Villa nil, Arsenal 2. Tuseme tu ukweli. Hii game Watkins ametupatia. But with that being said, Trossard coming off the bench, scoring the first goal, breaking the deadlock. Aston Villa had the better chances. Tuseme tu ukweli tu kabisa. But also first week of the season, first month of the season, first few game weeks, there's a lot of rust in players. Like, I know these things will happen. We are still not hitting top form. You saw Man City earlier. Yes, they scored 3 goals quickly, but then it just went a bit kind of flat, yeah? No one peaks in August. No one ever peaks in August. But what you do in August is that you get wins. Just stack those wins up. So that when you're peaking, the way we peaked last year in January, tulikuwa nafunga ma 6, 5, sijui ngapi, like at least you're in the mix. But with that being said, Ollie Watkins had 2 big chances. The first one was the miss. That miss was crucial because obviously game bado ilikuwa 0-0. Actually miss zake zote game bado zilikuwa 0-0. Na tumeona kitu moja na hii team ya Aston Villa and they showed it to us. Once they go ahead against us, because both games walienda ahead late, ni ngumu ku come back. Wanahangin alafu finally they attack and they get their goals. We got the first goal, obviously Trossard coming off the bench for Martinelli. There was one person in particular, FJR. I need to give you a shout out. I asked FJR, actually niliuliza tu wase, who should be the first sub coming in? Nilikuwa nasema Jesus aingie. I didn't even know Jesus akwa kwa bench. Nilikuwa nimetoka teke ya Rusi, nafika home, mimi nimeanzisha game. Sikujua hata Jesus yuko kwa bench. Trossard came on. Within a few minutes, Msame funga bao. Super sub. And I get it. Most people will say that you need to start Trossard. I feel like, yes, you start him in certain moments, but Martinelli still does so much for this team. His work rate going back is insane. He still doesn't get the support he's getting from Saka. The same support that Saka is getting, right? Because every time Saka has the ball, Odegaard is close to him, Havertz is making a run somewhere there, and Ben White is either overlapping or underlapping. Martinelli, left back wake, anacheza mid. Rice, bado anarudi nyuma ki-support, so he's helping him, he's coming through those channels, coming to support him, but Martinelli has to do a lot on his own, and that's just the way we play. The way we play means there's always a huge overload on that side, but also when he gets the ball, in as much as ana support from Timber na as much as White anafanyia Saka hii side ingine, what Saka does on this side means Martinelli will get open spaces, yeah? Or Trossard will get open spaces on that side, or it's one-on-one. So he just needs to keep his head down and keep grinding. Martinelli is still very crucial to how we play. With little to nothing, like the guy still does so much. So honestly, we are blessed in that left wing. If you start Trossard, you start Martinelli. But what I believe is every game has its own purpose, right? You need Martinelli to come and tire someone. If he's playing against Wan-Bissaka, because Martinelli has realized, hey, this guy, once he gets a leg on him, I'm not going to force issues. I'll just bring it back. That's one thing Martinelli has really learned how to do. Know when to attack. And when it's not on, don't force it. Again, obviously Trossard coming off the bench. People will say, oh, Trossard needs to start, whatever. It's fine. He can start. But for me, we have both of them. I'm not complaining. I'm happy. We have both. Partey, first half, was a bit off. Like he was just getting, even the Declan Rice yellow card, it was through him, lack of athleticism. Msamanza kuchoka, unaweza ona tu kwa miguu zake. But kwenda mbele, the way he breaks play, the way he turns with the ball, the way he drives like that 5-6 yards just to create the passing angles, this guy still has it. We just need to build around him and hope that he stays fit. Umsa kanzizi ujinga za Jesus za kuumia tuko pabaya, but today he was good. Took his goal very well. As an Arsenal fan, extremely happy. As a football fan, Martinez, what were you doing? At the end of the day, sir, we want Arsenal to win. But also at box to box, we are sports fans and we are football fans. You call it Martinez, you should have saved that. It like literally ameshaiguza anaenda kuitoa unacheki. But yeah, again nimesema kama fan wa Arsenal siwezi complain, ilikuwa 2-0, but yeah, that was poor goalkeeping on Martinez's part. In terms of subs came quickly, subs came on time, like I can't even complain. Calafiori finally making his Premier League debut. Lastly, the one thing I want to touch on is Morgan Rogers. I had never watched this guy play, to be honest. Hii ndio mara kwanza nimewatch Morgan Rogers akicheza. One thing I can tell you about sports in general is that sometimes you never know how good a player is until you see how the opposition prepares for him. For example, Steph Curry, when he crosses the halfway line, you all have to find a way to stop him from shooting that three. Do whatever it takes. Make someone else make those shots. For us, Aston Villa were doing the same for Saka. They were like, Saka is not going to get one-on-ones against us. If he cuts back, he's not going to cross, he's not going to get a shot at goal. They are just double-teaming him. But what we did is that we were doing the same for Rodgers. Rodgers was getting into spaces. I was seeing Gabriel coming all the way from defense to come and counter him in the middle of the field, especially when they have their ball in their own area. I saw Martinelli, when Rodgers got the ball, there was one run where he just shoved Martinelli. He shoved, I think, Partey as well. Like, the boy is strong. But you can see it's like they're all trying to foul him, which means they've seen something. They're like, this kid, don't give him space. This guy makes this team tick. Today, I'm a believer. Again, as I said, sometimes you never know the value of players until you see how other teams game plan for them, because they know if we shut this guy down, these guys are not going to do anything. Today, Rodgers, like, I know it's just one game, but I've seen enough to know that this kid is something else. This kid is going to be the future. Personally, there's two players in the Premier League right now that I just love watching. Okay, one, and this is going to be the second one. Obviously, Morgan Rogers is that one, and then the other person is Adam Wharton at Crystal Palace. That boy just plays. He just plays football. Like, he does things at his own time. If he needs to drive the ball up, he'll drive it up. If he needs a short pass, he'll do it. A 1-2, he'll do it. He'll do crossfield passes. Like, it's so good to watch this kid play. Like, I was so impressed. I know I said lastly, but nimekuwa kitu ingine. We have started doing crossfield balls a lot, which I think is a wrinkle that we've added to our game. If you look at all the top managers, right, this is something Pep does a lot, and obviously Arteta did from his all his seasons, is that how we played this season is not going to be exactly how we play. There's still going to be some things, the concepts that are similar, like, for example, Pep and Arteta, regardless of what season it is, because every year they reinvent themselves. One thing that stays in their teams is that you don't pass across. So if this is the pitch, one goal is here, and you divide the pitch into 3 zones, you don't pass short ground passes across the 3 zones. You always either do like a short pass to this zone or from this zone to this zone to advance the ball. Because if you do ground passes across the zones, you're creating opportunities for interceptions. That's just a general thing that goes across the board for these players or these coaches. But for us, we never used to do crossfield passes. Zinchenko was doing it against Lyon and against Leverkusen in preseason. Today, Partey did it a few times, all the way to Saka. One of the reasons why Arsenal never used to do that a lot is because even if you do the crossfield pass, you're now passing it to someone. Now Saka is alone. He doesn't have support. But Saka is such a good one-on-one player. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. Why don't you give him the ball? So I get why we didn't do it, but I get why we want to do it now. Also keeps the opposition guessing. Because previously, a guy just sits back and tells you, yeah, we know you're not going to kick the ball to that winger. Attack now. We'll just stay narrow and there's nothing you're going to do. So that's a wrinkle I've seen. We had so many crossfield passes. Partey did it. Declan Rice, this was his bread and butter at West Ham. He used to do it a lot. Last season, he rarely did it. There's an amazing article on The Athletic. I read it sometime last year and actually explains this a lot. So, yeah, just something I've noticed. We'll see as the season goes. We see where it's going, and we can comment about it a bit more. All in all, good win. We now move up to 3rd in the table. Brighton are in 2nd place because they won. They beat United today, but they've scored more goals. Goal difference is the same. And City stay up top after their 4-1 win. And Haaland getting a hat-trick. But with that being said, that's it. See you tomorrow. We'll be at the Junction Mall. We're watching F1. And then after that, we'll watch Liverpool versus Brentford. So come through. Everyone is welcome. Peace.